And so that started the evolution of Eagle Ops and what we do today, which is connect veterans to resources in their transition home. So whatever that looks like.
Tricia Bear from the Guardians of Service, and this morning we're meeting with Johnathon Shepherd. He's with Eagle Ops. Good morning, Johnathon.
Good morning.
Good morning. What can you tell us about your military experience?
Marine Corps veteran, so I served from 1997, just out of high school, till the end of 2002. Came home to raise my son. So my wife and I got pregnant right at the end of my last year of service, and so my son was actually born 3 days after my original EAS. So it was one of those really tight, like, got 9 months to go, and we got 9 months until he's born. So yeah. I decided to come home and raise him and be a father and a husband. And as we'll get into, I didn't do a very good job of that for the first few years. So.
Okay. You're the founder of Eagle Ops. When was it founded?
So my wife, Jessica, and I founded it in 2016. Okay. And this kind of leads into that whole scenario of when I got out in the end of 2002, I came home to be a good father and a husband, and I did not make a very good transition, meaning that it wasn't very healthy. I did what I was supposed to do, came home, got a job, started college, finished college, but instead of being a good father and a good husband, I found myself in the bottom of a bottle dealing with my own demons, leaving the Marine Corps. And because of that, I had my coming to now Jessica meeting, my wife obviously, drew a line in the sand and said, no more, you are either going, or we are either gonna go get help, or you're gonna do it alone. So make up your mind, but we're not gonna continue down this path. And so that started the evolution of Eagle Ops and what we do today, which is connect veterans to resources in their transition home. So whatever that looks like. So all of those trials and tribulations that we've all been through or are going through is what we focus on in assisting, right? Just being a mentor, being a battle buddy through that process. So our mission statement for the foundation for Eagle Ops is connecting relationships to resources to bring our heroes home, one operation at a time. And that's a fancy way of saying we want to do just what we're doing, sitting around, just kind of BSing, build some rapport, build some camaraderie so that you have enough trust in me and our organization and the individuals to say, hey brother, hey sister, man, I could really use help with X. And that X could be help with VA healthcare, VA claims assistance, guidance through that process. It could be a job placement, job training. It could be financial assistance. It could just be a battle buddy. And man, I just need someone to sit down and just shoot the stuff with. And that's been there and done that. That knows what I'm going through and what I'm dealing with and can help me kind of navigate that. That's what it's about, right? Creating the relationship. Right. So once we make the connection, all of the other things kind of come into play. Right? And so that's really what that mission statement kind of is about. So connecting relationships, start to the resources that are out there in your community, right? And so we're not in every community in the state of Oklahoma, but we certainly are connected to the resources, and we're a few phone calls away because, if you've been in this industry for very long, you start to realize that, hey, I just got to ask the right questions to get the answers that I want, And so if we have a need, then we can call anywhere in the state and say, hey, do you have this? And if you don't, then who does? And you start making those connections, and then you assist. And that's what we're about.
Okay, and that's kind of what I do. I'm a service officer for the DAV and VFW, so I help veterans do all their paperwork for the VA benefits.
Right.
So
I am started with the DAV 12 years ago. I started as a CSO just like yourself. I have since graduated to an actual VA accredited claims agent.
Okay.
So I'm an independent claims agent. Okay. I still work with the VA, VFWs, American Legions, as well as DAV. still heavily involved with the DAV. We run events and promote the DAV throughout the state of Oklahoma. They are a true partner of ours and have been for obviously since we started. So, question, you said we started in 2016. So obviously I got out in the end of 2002, and 2016 we started the Eagle Ops Foundation. That was our last, when we started our last company, Jessica and I. In 2016 we wanted to do more for the community, specifically veteran community, and so we started Eagle Ops at the same time. And so we had, at the height, we had 50-something employees. Over half of them were veterans in our last company, and we focused on getting them involved in the community, specifically the veteran community, getting them plugged into the resources. And then as we grew the outreach, we realized that every single veteran that we come in contact with were going through the same trials and tribulations that I put my family through early on. And so we vowed that through the foundation that we would then do our best to connect with every veteran and their family that we could and assist them in that transition. And that's really the evolution of Eagle Ops. It started as an outreach, just plug into any organization. DAV was one of our very first ones that we really plugged into, anything that we could do to help them. And then it graduated into, okay, any and all organizations as well as all veterans. How can we help? Like, how can we use our resources and our connections to assist them? And so from 16, in 2000, it just continued to grow. In 2019, we created the 501c3 nonprofit, and we have been running it since. And in 2023, so 2 years ago, we won a suicide prevention grant through the VA that forced us to be full-time doing what we do, right? And so Jessica and I worked for 7 years, nights and weekends doing Eagle Ops events, but you find out your bandwidth very quickly. We were working day jobs, and when you're working nights and weekends, 6 to 9 p.m. every single night of the week, and then working on Saturday, you eventually get to a stage in which you burn out a little bit. And we got to that point about a few years in, and the Lord opened the door for the grant to say, hey, you could do this, and you could do it full time and not have to do the day job. You can do the day job focusing on this and grow it. And that's what we started doing in 2023. And so we went from having events in Tulsa County to events in 21 counties in northeastern Oklahoma pretty much overnight. We were able to hire a few guys, outreach managers, to go out in those communities and set up what we call rally points. And those rally points are our social events to get veterans and their families connected to us in the events, and then to the resources, obviously, in those communities. So I know we're going to get into those questions, and I get a little off topic, but we'll circle back to a few of those. And so.
Yeah, that's fine. Is there an Eagle Ops membership fee to be in Eagle Ops?
There's not. Our price of admission for all of our events is showing up. So we tell veterans and their families that the price of admission, just show up. Now, we do have fundraising events. Obviously there's some cost to some of those things, specifically fundraising events, but every event that we do as far as what we call a rally point, social event, those are absolutely free. You just got to sign up. Some of them you sign up, most of them you just show up. And to be honest with you, every event you can just show up. We don't have an admission, we don't have a membership. It's just show up. So.
Okay, and on one of your rally points, you listed D&D. What is D&D?
So D&D is Dungeons and Dragons, and so if you're not a Dungeons and Dragons player, then you probably wouldn't recognize that.
Okay,
right? But yeah,
I didn't know what that was.
Yep, I saw that on your questions, and I was like, that's funny because, so as we get into this, one of our rally points is called Dragon Ops.
Okay.
And that's D&D, it's Dungeons and Dragons. So we have a group of veterans that meet twice a month at our headquarters facility, and they play Dungeons and Dragons. And so,
all right,
kind of adds to one of our game on rally points. We have a online gaming night at a facility where they go online game. Online gaming. We have 2 facilities actually now that do online gaming for veterans. So.
All right. And then I talked to Sean Lord a while back on a Guardian
Heroes
podcast.
Hope.
Yeah, and he knew you, and they have a gala event this weekend for the Heroes Hope program. And what they do is help homeless veterans get housing. So he recommended you.
We work with Sean quite a bit.
Yep. What is the Oklahoma Veterans Calendar?
So Oklahoma Veterans Calendar is a kind of a one-stop shop for all veteran organizations events statewide. So we created that. We realized this a few years ago that if you're not plugged into XYZ organization, or if you are plugged in, so like you're a VFW or a DAV member, you know what's going on in the VFW post that you're in or the DAV post that you're in, right? But you may not know what's going on in the community outside of that, because that's kind of like your family, that's your group, that's your community. That's where you're a member of. And so that's where you go and you participate in their events. Our goal with okveteranscalendar.com is to create a platform, i.e. an online calendar, that you can now, well, my organization, i.e. DAV, is not doing anything this weekend. So what's going on? Well, Heroes Hope's got a gala that I might be interested in. It's on the calendar, right?
Yeah.
And so if I'm not plugged into Heroes Hope, I can go to the calendar and go, hey, what's going on this weekend that I might be interested in my area? And so that's the focus for that. It's absolutely free for any organization. And I'm talking about veteran support organizations, not just veteran support. Any organization, any business, anyone that's doing a veteran-focused event, it's absolutely free for them to go to okveteranscalendar.com and post. We just submit the event. It's the when, where, whys, hows. How do I get involved? How do I, when is it? Where is it? Is there a cost to it? What's the event for? Here's the basic information. But that's what the calendar's for. And so it's a one-stop shop for any organization's events to help promote within all communities in the state of Oklahoma to say, hey, this is what's going on. Come and join us, right? So just like going back to our mission, anything that we can do to connect veterans to resources and their families to resources to help them in their transition home, we may not have the answer, but you do, or you do, so that's the whole point. So creating the opportunity for the entire community to kind of have some buy-in and put that out there so that we can help promote to all veterans and their families, all events within the communities.
Okay. That's really good to know. We just had a Vets for Pets costume contest at the car show in Henrietta last Saturday. So I wish I'd known about that, because I would have put that on there. And then we do Feed the Vets every 90 days. Oh, wow. So we give free food to veterans every 90 days, which our next one's, we just had one September 4th, and our next one's December the 4th. So that's good to know. Yeah. I will definitely put those events on there.
Yeah, it's a great platform, and I tell veteran support organizations that have anything that's related to veterans, it's got to be focused on veterans, because it's not a community calendar, right? Yeah. You got newspapers and you got all the calendars in the world for community-based stuff. Yeah. This is specifically for our clientele, in essence, right? Yes. Our veterans, our brothers and sisters that are out there that have served or have family members that have served. That's what OK Veterans Calendar is. We got a ton of patriots throughout, not only Oklahoma, just the U.S., but a ton of patriots out there that, hey, I want to support veterans. How do I do that? Well, go to the calendar and then see if there's anything in there that you could jump in and help with. Volunteer opportunities, fundraising opportunities, and then just general events, social events for veterans and their families are on there as well.
Okay, and I'll let my commander and my members know about that calendar. So the type of events that you all have coming up, what did you say the next event was going to be?
Tonight is actually golf nights. Okay. And so we, for the month of September, we have 37 social events in 16 counties. And so all in northeastern Oklahoma, but anywhere from Muldrow, Salisaw, all the way to Miami, and Shawnee all the way to Tahlequah. And so we've got everything in between. And so 37 different events, and those events consist of, like tonight, we're in Owasso, Oklahoma, which is right down the road from our headquarters, at Twisted Tea, and it's golf nights. And so we do golf nights 4 nights a month now. On the 1st and 3rd, we're at a facility in Tulsa called Birdie Bays. It's an indoor virtual facility of golf. So we don't have to worry about weather. So as long as they got power, it's good to go.
Okay.
And then the same thing at Twisted Tea in Owasso. It's an indoor virtual golf facility, and we have partnered with PGA Hope here in the state of Oklahoma to help them with their golf program. But PGA Hope is the nonprofit arm of PGA of America, and PGA Reach specifically is their nonprofit. But they provide free golf lessons, professional golf lessons for veterans.
Oh, wow.
And so they come in for the first hour of our golf nights, give us lessons, and then we play 9 to 18 holes virtual golf for those who want to play. And for the rest of us, we just sit around and BS and have a good time and connect.
Okay.
So, but we do that 4 nights a month, doing golf nights 4 nights a month. It's always Monday nights, the first and third Monday, and then the second and fourth Tuesday of the month. We flip-flop those depending on the facility that we're at. So.
Okay. You also have shooting competitions. Where's the shooting competitions at?
So one of the obviously most popular, and this is our 7th year of doing it, Veteran Freedom Shoots is a shooting competition, and it's a modified 3-gun at Tulsa Gun Club.
Okay.
And so that's off of 169 and 56th Street North. And that facility we do, or that particular event, we sponsor 10 veterans for a modified 3-gun competition, in essence, a free range day. So if you like shooting, which most veterans do, then it is an absolute free event for you. You just sign up. That's one you do sign up for, show up, right?
Yeah.
You could sign up on the day and come in that morning, but it's pretty popular. So you want to get signed up early and then show up. And the cool thing about that particular event, it's an absolutely free event, free range day. So that means you shoot our rifles, our bullets, our targets, eat our coffee and our donuts. And I was telling Shell earlier that we call it our CBD therapy, coffee, bullets, and donuts. So
I like that.
Very popular event, obviously, for a free range day. And that happens once a month, January through October.
Okay.
And we, in that event, we have true military fashion. We have a winner of the day because, we make everything a competition. So it is a timed evolution, whether you've shot, never shot before, which surprisingly we have some veterans that have never shot before a rifle, all the way to competitive shooters that show up. And they compete for the day. The winner of the month gets brought back in November for a competition in which they compete for a custom edition Rise Armament AR, which is one of our sponsors.
AR-15?
That's correct.
Okay. And is that what they're shooting when they're competing?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so the initial, we'll have shotguns and rifles, depending on the month. Our team is pretty, they change it up every month so that it's not the same exact, you're not shooting the exact same setup every single month.
Okay.
The overall setup is the same, but they may throw some variations in, right? So we run 2 stations or 3 stations, and then we'll throw a shotgun in, or we'll run 3 just rifle, and then they'll throw in just variations, doing 25-yard, 50-yard, 75-yard, 100-yard, and any variation in between. So it could be a different combination. That way that it's kind of changing it up for the veterans that show up. The cool thing about Freedom Shoots specifically is not only that we sponsor 10 veterans every month, is we sponsor and we focus on 10 new veterans, but like this month, we only have 6 new veterans that signed up. Well, we sponsor 10 every month. So if you shot last month or any of the previous months, you could be on a standby list. And as long as you show up and you're the top of that list, then we're going to take you. And so 6 new, brand new, never shot before, get to shoot, plus 4 guys that didn't win one of the previous months get to shoot again. Okay. Right? Because our goal is to be able to keep them coming back, because we can't build rapport with veterans and their families unless you show up more than once, right? Like, we might be able to connect pretty well the first time, but if you show up 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, we definitely are going to be able to make a connection. And so our goal is to kind of drive them back and give them a little carrot to do so.
Okay, now they're using the company's AR-15, or can they bring their own?
We cannot. It's ours.
They got to use.
There's a competition, So they use ours. So it's everyone shooting the exact same ammo, same rifle, same setup, So it's equal across the board.
Gotcha.
So we can't bring in those competitors. Like we got Marine Corps rifle literally rifle team that have come in, and they've got a full setup, right? They just come off the rifle range and they come on our range. That's not fair to you who have maybe never shot before, right? So we try to make it at least as equal as we can. Like you have muscle memory and you have the experience of it, okay, fine, but we're going to neutralize that. You get to shoot our equipment. So if you're really good, you're going to pick that back up. You know that. So, but the whole thing is to make it as neutral as we can, not to mention we can't take the liability of your rifle, that kind of deal. So we know what our equipment and what it consists of, and it's a liability thing on that side too. So.
Okay. And you also have fire pit nights. Where are those located?
So those are all over. So obviously that's something very open to the communities. Super popular as we transition into this time of the year where the sun's not setting at 9 o'clock at night. We start at fire pit nights, and we transition from our game on rally points into fire pit nights this month. Actually, we'll start at the end of September, definitely in October, transitioning into fire pit nights. And those are at commercial locations all across those 21 counties. And so I don't have to explain too much about a fire pit night. Literally, you got a fire pit, school circle, we'll have food and beverages available. We'll do maybe chili or something, and then have some water and soda, that kind of thing. And then we sit around a fire pit and we just tell stories, right? Just like we did back in the military, and connect with each other. So those are super popular because all generations can show up at a fire pit, right? So our niche kind of genre for folks that show up are probably 25 to 55 just because of the activities that we do. But with fire pit nights, anybody can show up, and feel comfortable to do it, right? You're just sitting around a bunch of veterans and telling stories, So pretty popular whenever it comes to fire pit nights.
Okay, and what are the Fur Missile Fridays?
So Fur Missile Fridays, we actually started that one. We partnered with an organization out of Claremore that they do training, they do service dogs training as well as military and police dog training. So Fur Missile is just that, a German Shepherd that's fully trained, and they put you in a full bite suit and have that German Shepherd come after you. So that's the missile, Fur Missile,
gotcha.
Right? And so obviously as veterans, we are pretty creative in not only the verbiage in our rally points, but also in just the activities that we do. Who wants to come out and get attacked by a dog? Let me put you in a suit, and it's rather comical in watching some folks, get attacked by a dog. Obviously in a suit, safety-wise. But it's training opportunity for the dogs and the trainers to get new folks, out there that, hey, I'll jump in a suit, that kind of thing. So that's a Fur Missile for you.
Okay. And then what is the Wake Surf Wednesdays? So
wake surfing is a sport, obviously, at the lake. We do those twice a month during summer months out at the lakes at Skiatook, and 918 Boats is our sponsor for that, and they provide a wake surf boat in which we go out and we teach veterans and their family how to wake surf for those events. And so it's the evenings. We typically do it 2 Wednesdays a month during the summer months. We just finished up the last one just a few weeks ago for this summer, and we'll start back up obviously next summer when the temperatures start getting back up in the 90s or so, and the lakes warm back up. So, but yeah, it's teaching veterans and their families how to wake surf. So.
And that's on a board?
It is. So it's like a small surfboard in essence, and the boat creates a wave just like in the ocean. And you physically start up almost like you would skiing on a rope, a shorter rope.
Okay.
You get up on the board, and once you do, the boat, just by the setup, it'll create a wave for you. And once you get used to doing it, you can physically almost just hold onto the rope and surf with the rope. Or once you get used to wake surfing, you can toss the rope back to the boat and physically surf on the wave. Very consistent. It's like 11 miles an hour. It's not very, if you fall, you just fall into the water, no big deal. It's not like wakeboarding where you're doing 30 miles an hour and you get smacked into the water. Yeah. So it's much more friendly on the joints for folks that want to get up and and come out and enjoy the lake. And the other side of that too is that the boats are big enough that if you want to wake surf, you can wake surf. If you don't, then you just sit on the boat and just sit around and BS with the veterans and their family that are on the boat. So it's a kind of a social hour on the boat, and we have the opportunity to have multiple boats out depending on the event, and so that's pretty cool. 918 Boats has been a very good sponsor of ours to help us out with that. So we've had a wake surf boat and a pontoon boat. So if you don't want to wake surf, you can go out in pontoon and just set out and float around and have a good time on the lake. And it's been a pretty cool little event.
Okay, and then you also have the Welcome Home 5K runs. When and where are the 5K runs held?
So that event is at Mohawk Park in Tulsa, so right by the Tulsa Zoo. It's right in front of the Tulsa Zoo. Matter of fact, our parking for the event is actually the Tulsa Zoo parking lot. But we run around the Mohawk Park, actually, in that 5K. We've also added this is our 7th year of doing that 5K. And so we added the last mile of the event is called the Honor Mile. So it's a welcome home and 5K and Honor Mile in which we honor 250 fallen service members, mostly from around the area, but it could be anywhere in the country. We've had families honor their loved one all the way from Oregon to Virginia, New York, Florida, and it's just a matter of we absolutely free for the families to come in and put their honoree in our Honor Mile and for them to come and join us. But that is a very sombering moment in the 5K. It's something that Jessica and I went and ran the Marine Corps Marathon out in DC, and they have the Blue Mile, which is an organization that does honor fallen service members around the country, but they do honor sections of marathons. So a full mile of the Marine Corps Marathon in DC, and it was so touching and so moving for me and Jessica running the Marine Corps Marathon and witnessing that we wanted to bring it back to Tulsa, and so we created that portion of our event to do just that, is to bring that honor Mile back to Tulsa so that you could witness that and be involved in it. Like Gold Star families, obviously, they just want to remember their fallen service member, and that gives them an opportunity to be able to do so in that format. So we'll have 1,000 to 1,200 runners and participants in the event this year, so it's been growing. This is our 7th year. And speaking of the DAV, being that you're a CSO with the DAV, we took that back in 2017, 2018, the DAV had the DAV 5K series nationwide, and Tulsa happened to be one of those events. They have since canceled that series nationally, and they only do it in Cincinnati, which is their headquarters, in Boston, I believe. So they have 2 of them. Back then, they were doing it all across the country. And Tulsa, we participated in 2017 and then 2018. We were the largest team not only in the DAV 5K Tulsa, but in the entire U.S. and all locations. And we were the largest fundraiser for the DAV for that particular event nationwide. And so we were honored that year for that, and then turned around and the DAV canceled it, the national series.
Yeah.
And we were like, well, we were doing so good, so we're gonna take this 5K, and that's where the Welcome Home 5K actually started. And so we moved it from downtown Tulsa to Mohawk Park, and gave us a little better opportunity to be able to expand there versus downtown. There's a lot of the logistics, as you can imagine, trying to do a run in downtown Tulsa.
Yeah, a lot of one-way streets.
Yeah, so it made it much easier going to the park, and we can block off, areas, and not as much traffic and that kind of stuff. So it worked out very well. But
what date is the next 5K run?
So the 5K is November the 8th or 9th. I apologize, I don't off the top of my head. It's that Saturday. So it's the second Saturday of the month, but I believe I'm going to say the 8th. November the 8th is the date.
Okay, so Eagle Ops works directly with businesses and organizations to develop an ever-expanding network of resources. What are some of those resources?
So on that side of, outreach is focused on, we have as a nonprofit, obviously you have programs in which we operate under. And so number one is reach one more. That's all of our rally points, which we spoke about, numerous rally points that we have in a given month. Outreach program is focused on just what you said, focused on creating partners in the community that can help veterans and their families. So those partners can be businesses, could be the VA, could be VA healthcare, to VBA, to everything in between, right? Could be our local VSOs being American Legion, DAV, Purple Heart, any and all between. And so that's really about outreach and our connection there. So we make connection with them because we know that we're not the end all be all, right? We can't provide resources for everything, but if we connect to a big enough network, create a big enough community, then we absolutely can, right? And so that's where that comes into play. So those services and those connections come down to job placement, job training, our partnerships with organizations to help with that, from Oklahoma Employment Security Commission to other organizations that might hold grants, or specifically to businesses, right? So Williams Company or Braden Winch or local, it could be a local restaurant, that kind of thing. It could be anything in between. If they've got a job that they're looking for or to fill, then they can plug into our veterans network on the job placement side. And so those are just resources and connections that we have as we go into new communities, that's what we're looking for, right? Okay. We want to build that community resource list in every single community. So if you're a business owner or you're a company that owns a business in a community, as we come in, our outreach team will literally go in and say, hey, this is who we are, what we are. Do you have any jobs available? Would you be interested in hiring veterans? Would you be interested in sponsoring our events and that kind of stuff? And so those opportunities is what we do in our outreach side of things, and that outreach program is focused on that. So that's where our outreach managers, as they go into new communities, that's what they're focused on. Okay. So creating those relationships so that we can then pass on those resources to the community. Whether they know about it or not, if you live in the community, you might know. If you're a smaller community, you might know about them, but you might not have the connection, Right. And we got to the age now that it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. And so if I can open the door for you and grease the skids. I was a crew chief on helicopters, so if I can grease the skids for you to get into that door, then that's what we want to do, right? Okay. So that's a part of that, kind of building the community and that opportunity for our community, right? So if you're plugged into Eagle Ops and you say, hey Shep, hey Jessica, hey, I need help with X, then we're going to do our due diligence to be able to plug you into that resource or resources, right? It could be a lot.
Okay, and then on the Eagle Ops programs, you have a hand up grants and scholarships? Correct.
So one of the gaps that we found early on was that organizations out there have grants and things, that financial aid for certain things, but the criteria is pretty daunting, got a crazy application, and not all of us qualify for that. And so we created the Hand Up Grant for emergency need situations where we can step in, and because we're smaller, we can cut a check pretty quickly for something like utilities, or we could assist with financial need in, let's say, we find a homeless veteran. This is where that opportunity with Sean Lord, which you have already done with Heroes Hope. If we identify a homeless veterans, which homeless veterans are typically not coming to our events, right? Because they're worried about the hierarchy of needs. They need to put a roof over their head, they need to find food and shelter and things of that nature. So when we identify veterans through our networks, we can plug them into organizations like Heroes Hope or SSVF or HUD-VASH, VA HUD-VASH, which are all homeless programs that operate specifically to help veterans get off the street and get them plugged in and get them stabilized. Well, there's always a gap. So if I find you today and you're on the street in a tent or living in your car, you're homeless, and we get your information, we verify that you're a veteran, there's a few programs we can plug you in, but there's an application process typically. So what are you going to do tonight? Well, you're still homeless tonight. And so what we do is we step in and we partner with the organizations, and we come in with an emergency need, and we can put the veterans and their family into a hotel room for the next few days, i.e. so they can put a roof over their head while they figure out the application and get into those longer term programs, right? So we fill the gap with that Hand Up grant. And at this juncture, we focus on really partnering with those organizations. They identify the veterans, so VA HUD-VASH case managers or SSVF, so supportive services and for veterans and their family. Case manager identifies a veteran in need. They submit a Hand Up grant to us because they're starting that process, but they have a window. Like, they're homeless today, but I can't get them in the program for 3 days, right? It's just the nature of how that system works, right? And so we want to take care of them right now. And so they call us, they put in a Hand Up grant, and we can go to some of our local partners in the state of Oklahoma, and we can pay for a few nights for them to make that transition into putting a roof over their head, give them a hot shower, maybe a meal for the nights and the next few days, and then that program can take them from that point forward, right?
Okay.
And so our Hand Up grant is really focused on organizations submitting those applications to us because it's not our main focus, right? Although we have it, it's not our main focus. Social activities and being good at what we're good at, which is creating those opportunities to build rapport, is where we're focused. And so it is something we have, but it's not something that we focus on. So our funding on that side is minimal. And so, to be honest with you, we run out of funding pretty quickly in quarter to quarter. We take in donations specifically for that. We go after grants that help us support that particular program. But when you're talking about a $5,000 grant and you got 50 veterans that you identified in a single month that need something, $5K goes pretty quick, you know. And so we run into a situation where we have lack of funds on that one quite often. But it certainly is an opportunity, right? And so we do our best to try to help out. And even if we can't help with financial assistance, we've got some other partners that we plug veterans and their families into that are in need. And so it's not like they're just totally lost. It's just that we might not be able to step in and help with that Hand Up grant every single time.
Okay.
So
And
that's getting in the weeds there, but.
all right. And so what are the 3 ways that employees can volunteer or support the mission?
Okay, so that is our Difference Maker program. And so we don't have volunteers at Eagle Ops, we have difference makers. So our Difference Maker program is eagleops.org/difference maker. Like, it's pretty simple. You can find it on the website as well. You can search on eagleops.org and just search for difference makers. And in that, we actually have a full list of volunteer difference maker opportunities. You can come and join us, and it could be anything from Tulsa State Fair is coming up. Well, we have a booth at the Tulsa State Fair, and so you can come and spend a few hours with us. We give you a ticket to the fair plus one other, and you can come hang out for a few hours, help us run the booth, pass out information about the foundation and what we do, why we do it, and then go to the fair, right? And so those are difference maker opportunities we have. We have one that's coming up specifically tomorrow. Obviously, that's not going to help with this, but things like this pop up all the time where we're moving. Like, a veteran has called us and they need moving assistance. So, for example, they're moving into a new facility. This happens a lot with homeless veterans or veterans in transition that are moving from one location to the other. They just don't have a trailer, and they need to move from storage to a new apartment, or from a new apartment to a storage, or vice versa. And they just need some hands. They just need someone to show up and help them because they can't do it themselves. And so we step up. Our difference makers will go out, we'll set a time and date and say, hey, difference makers in the community, come and help us, and this is what we're doing. You know, we're going to pack up all this veteran stuff, put it in a trailer, move it to storage, or pull it out of storage and put it at this new apartment, that kind of thing. And so those difference maker opportunities come up periodically, weekly sometimes, or it could be a larger event like the Tulsa State Fair, you know, where you're just helping us with a booth, or the Welcome Home 5K. So it's a pretty large event. I said we're going to have 1,000 plus people out there. Obviously, we have a lot of different things going on, a lot of different moving parts, setting up the race, tearing down the race. setting up tents, running some of our tents and things, information booths, something like that. We have difference maker opportunities to be able to volunteer. And then we have other organizations that call us and say, hey, we could use help with whatever it is. You know, it could be a fundraiser for them, could be Broken Arrow, like Blue Star Moms calls us on a regular basis, says, hey, we need help packing boxes to send to troops overseas. Okay. Sign us up. You know, we come in and we'll have a crew that comes in and helps pack boxes for, you know, Blue Star Moms. And so those are the type of difference maker ops that we get involved in.
Okay. And is there any other events you want to talk about that the Eagle Ops helped sponsor?
I mean, obviously, we put on so many events that we get involved in a lot. We do promote with the okveteranscalendar.com. We promote everybody's events. So sponsorship, I would change that word to involve and champion. We probably champion more organizations' events than we really get involved in, unless the organization calls and says, hey, we need difference makers, right? Then we would, you know, get plugged into those. We do help and sponsor like golf tournaments for other veteran organizations, because obviously we have a pretty large and growing golf group. You know, obviously we do it 4 nights a month now, and so we probably have 30 or 40 veterans that come pretty regularly to those events, and so you got quite a few golfers. And so if you have a golf tournament that's going on and you need players, you need sponsors, you need teams, then we'll come in and we'll put in a team for the event and that kind of stuff. And so I guess we do some sponsorship in that regard. And we focus on putting veterans on the golf course, you know, in that program. But it's a part of our Eagle Ops golf program and helping out with that one. So outside of that, it's really just about our rally points and getting into the communities, getting into new communities. And we do that obviously through our outreach and opportunities like this, right? So telling you about it and you getting the word out. Like if you're a veteran that's out in any community in Oklahoma and say, man, everything you guys are doing is awesome, but you're 2 hours away, right? I'm not driving 2 hours to go to golf nights. You know, I can't get off work at 5:30 and make it to 6 o'clock event 2 hours away. Not gonna happen. We ain't got, you know, we don't have time machines and transporters at this point, so that's not gonna happen. So how can I get involved if I'm in my community 2 hours away? Well, you can do that by contacting us and let's chat, right? So as we were kind of just chatting offline here, we were speaking about some of the other events we didn't talk about rally points. Those rally points are stood up, and the opportunity for the rally points come from the veterans in their community. So we have opportunities that pop up all the time. The veterans like, I enjoy crappie fishing, and I've got a good contact down at the local dock here in Eufaula, Oklahoma, and if some veterans wanted to come and fish with me, I'd love to have them. Well, let's create a rally point. So you sign up through us, you get trained by us as a mission coordinator for us. So it's a difference maker, a volunteer, and you show up once a month or twice a month, and we promote that event for you and the veterans that may be in that community. So you get trained as a mission coordinator for Eagle Ops. We give you all the back office. We create a fancy little name for the event, and then we promote it. And we'll drive in your community, we'll drive veterans and their families to that event. You being the mission coordinator with a few buddies, because we always have to have battle buddies, right? So any single rally point that we have a mission coordinator or multiple mission coordinators to run those events. Because instead of you having to show up every single time, hey, I've got stuff comes up, our big thing is if we promote it and we push that as a rally point, we want it to happen, right? Consistency is key. And so when we sign up and we start promoting it, then we don't cancel. And so it's a very bad thing for us to cancel, because the one opportunity to reach one more, which is our #1 program, if we cancel tonight for our golf nights, and we got that one veteran that finally said, you know what, I'm going to join them tonight, and we missed that opportunity to connect, that's a bad thing, right, in our eyes. Yeah. So if we promote it and we push it, we're going to have the event. So we create mission coordinators, and we focus on creating 2 to 3 mission coordinators for any event, so that you have backup, right? Obviously, you'd want to have more than one at any given event, but most of our events are small enough, 5 to 10 member, folks that show up. Most of our events are in that range. Some events are much larger than that, but 5 to 10 is pretty common for smaller communities. And so one mission coordinator can kind of handle that. And we give you a script, we give you training to go through, we give you our check-in process, which actually connects to more resources on the backside to include our case management and our partnership with Oklahoma Veterans United. And that gives us an opportunity, but then to really help with veterans statewide because of that network. And anyhow, so the mission coordinator side of things is we give you the training, we'll promote the event, and we'll push it out there and have them come join you for whatever that event is, right? Okay. And so one of the events that we didn't speak about is kayaks and crayons that we just started. Well, as a Marine, you understand the whole crayons thing, and every Army veteran out there is going to talk trash because they're certainly the ones that have no idea where the crayons come from, but they're the ones that try to give Marines a hard time about eating crayons. So we perpetuate it, as good Marines do. And so 2 Marines actually that are very big into kayaking have started this kayaks and crayons rally point at Oologah Lake, and they do that twice a month with a joint partnership actually with Team River Runner, and they provide the kayaks for veterans and their family to go out and learn kayaking. And so we affectionately call it kayaks and crayons. And so, but that was just one that a veteran come to us and said, hey, I have the resources. Can you help me build this particular rally point? Love to join you guys in that. And so that was an opportunity that we jumped on obviously last month and started that up. So that's just a single veteran that started it, and we have some other mission coordinators that help him manage that event. And so we could do that in all communities throughout the state of Oklahoma, and truly that's our goal, is kind of spreading that mission, that opportunity of, hey, what do you like to do? What's going on in your community that other veterans might want to plug into and be a part of, then let us help support that. Right.
Okay, I like that. The VFW does what they call loyalty days. That we've done it like 3 years in a row. So this year it's going to be in Eufaula. So I will have my commander contact you all about promoting that event. So each VFW post sets up a booth, and like we used to sell desserts there or raffle off a rifle. They have a fishing tournament for kids. Every year we rotate towns in our district. So this year it's in Eufaula, next year it's going to be in Okmulgee, and then the following year it'll be back in Henrietta. So I will let my commander know your phone number and see if that's something that you all can help promote and show us how to promote it through your organization to get more participation in that event.
Happy to help, for sure.
I think we had in McAllister we had a talent show that year. So I plan on when we have it in our town is to have another talent show, because there's a ton of kids here that can sing at H-Town Theater. Right. So that's what I plan on doing when we have it again. But I will definitely let them know about you and the calendar that you have established. That will help our event, Loyalty Days. What other contact information do you want to give the viewers?
So obviously eagleops.org is our main website. Our headquarters phone number is 918-600-1911, so 1911. Obviously you got that reference. If you're a veteran, you understand that reference. But so 600-1911 is our office number. Great resources there, and the website has connection to all of our rally points. I would suggest that if you're going to get involved in anything or looking for events in your community, okveteranscalendar.com. And if you go to the eagleops.org, the one location, if you're interested in our events and specifically coming to any Eagle Ops events, you're within the 21 counties that we currently operate in, then getting involved in and registering for our Rally Point briefing. So Rally Point is obviously our social events, but Rally Point briefing is a monthly newsletter that we produce every single month, and that's every single event will be in that Rally Point briefing. And honestly, everything leads back to okveteranscalendar.com. So we post all of our events on OK Veterans Calendar as well. And so we don't just promote that platform, but we also use it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not just for us. It's really our way of championing every single organization in the state of Oklahoma and saying, hey, this website is built for you. The opportunity is, you just got to take a little bit of time and submit that event so that we can help promote it and push it. We want to be a champion for your organization. If you're doing something, providing services or benefits for veterans and their family in your community, then we want to help you, get the word out, right? So
yeah, I appreciate that because I didn't know about that either. And we've had several events like Vets for Pets. We do the 90-day Feed the Vets program every 90 days. We do a Christmas party for kids in Henrietta every year. So that I will definitely make sure our organization and the DAV knows about that website because that's highly beneficial to us to getting the word out. And that's why we do the Guardians of Service program to find agencies like yourself that help veterans that are here to build that coalition to help veterans with whatever resources they need.
Yes, ma'am.
So I appreciate you being here today. And is there anything else you want to add to it?
I could be here for hours. So no, I do not. No, I appreciate the time and an effort that you put into this, and I appreciate you giving us a call and letting us be involved in this podcast as well, and then look forward to kind of helping and team up with you in the future and other opportunities that might come.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, thank you for joining us today, and thank you for watching the Guardians of Service.